Take flight to new spaces. LG Wing.
Good morning. Today, my group and I will be doing a presentation on LG. LG, or surprisingly known as Lucky Gold Star, is a South Korean multinational conglomerate corporation. LG was established primarily as Gold Star Co. in 1958. They were in the plastic business during that time, but later merged with another company called Lucky in 1983, which led to the establishment of today's Lucky Gold Star. They specialize in manufacturing electronics, chemicals, and telecommunications, operating in subsidiaries such as LG Electronics, Zenith, LG Display, LG U+, and several more. They now have branched out to over 49 countries with a cumulative workforce of 40,000 people. LG operates their business with the guide of their mission statement, which is as follows: LG Electronics, focused on developing new innovations across the globe. We are committed to providing electronic products that help customers live better. Their current core values include open communications, consideration, proactive collaboration, change, and leap. LG values a comfortable and amicable environment. Their corporate culture is illustrated in the following quote: LG Electronics is striving to create a corporate culture based on creativity and autonomy. They value communication between employees and has around 9 distinctive programs for employees regarding communications. They maintain their corporate culture by the annual LG Way survey that they ensure the environmental is suitable for the employees.
Our team had the honor of interviewing two people from LG Electronics for our assignment, and it was through these interviews that we were able to gain insight on how this specific corporation is able to operate. The first interview with Mr. Dustin Lee, head of the IR division, was conducted by our team leader, Chaeyoung. The next interview with Bella Lee, an employee under Dustin Lee's supervision, was conducted by me. The interviews with Jimmy Lin and Teresa Lin from Goldman Sachs were conducted by me as well. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as distance, the interview with Mr. Lee was conducted by phone call, and the rest of the interviews with Bella Lee, Teresa Lin, and Jimmy Lin were conducted by Zoom. It was through the interviews with the domestic company that our team discovered LG's morals and the value they have over their employees. We were also able to enhance our knowledge of the IR division and what its main function is. It was also through these interviews, as well as extensive research, that our team of 5 were able to identify common issues within our chosen domestic and foreign corporations and provide recommendations to solve and enhance the organization. Going further into the IR division, it is one of the most important divisions in the company. Within this division, the main duty is to represent their investors with recent and relevant information regarding company affairs. Employees within this division are given the task of coordinating shareholder press conferences, leading financial analyst briefings, as well as presenting quarterly earnings release reports. After speaking with Bella Lee, who is in charge of presenting the quarterly earnings release, she told us that one of her main duties is to guide the company through quiet periods, which are every January, April, July, and October. During these periods, the IR division will display a major delay in responses since they are not allowed to relay any important information to investors as well as analysts. To learn more about the obligations that come with working in the Investment Relations Division, we asked other questions such as, can you walk me through your typical workday? And do employees control the structure of their goals and tasks? Using these questions, their responses gave us major insight on a day in the life of an IR employee and helped us further identify possible OB-related issues within the specific field.
We have identified 2 organizational behavior-related issues, and the first one is work-life balance. According to the interview with the IR Communications employee, usual overtime work in the office was 2 hours, which had to be done 2 to 3 times a week. Also, she mentioned about how she had to continue her work at home for 4 out of the 5 working days in a week. It was also mentioned during the interview that there are so many days in a week where they had company dinners, which resulted to more work that had to be taken home for it to be completed for the next workday. Regarding the provision of wellness facility in the company, there is a psychological counseling office that helps employees deal with their stress. However, the company does not have a fitness center for its employees, nor does it provide physical fitness allowance. For employee holiday and vacation, employees who work more than 80% of the time per year are given 15 days of paid leave. For employees who have served more than 3 years, 1 additional day of leave is given every year. One employee can get up to 25 days off. There is also a recommended holiday, but employees can't rest if there is work to be done. The second OB-related issue that we identified during the interview is diversity. We observed that the IR team employees had overseas experience. The IR team leader shares that he has 8 work years experience in Australia and France. The IR communications team member also used to work in China before. However, the company overall has low foreign employment, where mainly 95% of the company is Korean background. During the interview, it was also mentioned that the younger generation employees had their changing views of being agreeable about company after work plans, which made the IR team member alter their workplace tradition. Also, low female employment was evident in the team, which amounted to only 1/3 of the team being female.
While analyzing the factors that affect work life balance, we found out that the definition of work life balance itself is evolving through different generations. According to a study, people of Generation Y, those born between 1981 and 1996, like our interviewee Bella Lee, prefer to focus on building personal skills and competencies. On the other hand, those of Generation X, to which the team leader Dustin Lee belongs, seek for lifelong employment. So while employees like Miss Lee think it's important to get immediate and continuous feedback from their managers and expect clear instruction from them. We expected these factors to be the reason for Miss Lee's low work-life balance, as she mentioned how she would sometimes be stressed from doing such miscellaneous and vague tasks without any proper feedback from her managers. Another factor is motivation, where we were able to apply the Hertzberg two-factor theory. In Miss Lee's interview, the first thing she mentions when asked the question of what she likes about a work environment is the cleaning staff and the coffee machine, which are hygiene factors, not motivation factors. In addition, regarding the equity theory, we see how Miss Lee's team leader is working overtime 3 days out of 5 working days. Observing the amount of input Mr. Lee puts in and the output he's receiving, getting sent abroad to work as a sojourning employee in countries like Australia and France, Miss Lee is further motivated to work and pursue more than she would have normally done, causing her to stay late in the office to improve her work. Also, the fact that they are an IRT meant communicating with foreign investors and credit agencies and having to deal with time differences, making it inevitable to replying to mails and data researching outside of work. We associated the issues of telecommuting with border theory, where there are 2 different boundaries, the work sphere and the family sphere. Border crosses such as bringing work home or clients calling home can create a negative spillover in the employee's life at home. Similarly, border crosses such as carrying home concerns to work and babysitters calling during work hours can yield negative spillover, influencing the employee's attitude when working. One major cause of the low diversity in LG IR communications team seems to be the low turnover rate. Without workers leaving the team, this can make it difficult for it to become more diverse, causing a cycle of low workforce diversity. In addition, we found that LG Electronics and all its subsidiaries do not have a foreigner-friendly recruiting website. This would make it hard for foreigners to apply to the organization in the first place, meaning it does not target recruiting messages to specific demographic groups, but mostly Koreans in general. Note that the leader of the team we interviewed clearly said how he does not feel the need for foreign employees, as he could easily depend on the current team when faced with language barriers. Lastly, we came across the fact that there was only one female employee in the team. According to one study, people often hold a common stereotype that women have low emotional stability. When we look at the typical day of workers in the IR team, they must report to the top management regularly, where they need to answer and give exact numbers on the spot and contact investors, answering their questions and concerns, which can sometimes be aggressive and contentious. Considering the specific workplace environment, we surmise that the organization had a preference for male workers in the team.
From the work-life balance related issues that we have interviewed with the Goldman Sachs employees, our group have summarized the following points for LG's reference. Goldman Sachs has set up mental health days, provide free nutritionist consultation, a period of 4 to 6 weeks of vacation, and extra recruitment to help the employees with the heavy workload. And due to the time constraint, we do not have the time to explain each point in detail, but Goldman Sachs did provide lots of health benefits, including gym and group sessions offered in their office building, as well as mandatory leave options, which requires workers to take a week or 2 off to relax their mind. And after all these efforts were made by Goldman Sachs, you may wonder why the organizations care so much about their work-life balance. Well, the answer to this question is when employees achieve a healthy balance between work and personal life, the business also benefits. A few of the advantages for employees include: so firstly, it improves productivity. Stress, overwhelmed employees get less work done. In fact, a survey by the Corporate Executive Board showed that workers with a healthy work-life balance worked over 20% harder than their burnout counterparts. And secondly, it reduces employees' turnover rate. If an employee feels overwhelmed and unbalanced, they are more likely to seek greener pasture elsewhere. However, in LG's cases, the fact that they have zero turnover rate may due to the current COVID-19 pandemic situations that demand exceeds supply in the job offers. And lastly, it benefits the business reputations. Companies that are known for promoting a good work-life balance have a better reputation and able to attract higher caliber talent. The slide shows our recommendations for LG's work-life balance. First, to establish an official overtime policies. Oftentimes, there are situations when employees who sees their manager excessive overtime would naturally think that they are expected to do the same. Therefore, organizational changes regarding work-life balance has to be made top-down. So Mr. Lee, as the team leader, must refrain from working overtime in office to allow his subordinates to leave work on time. Secondly, LG should develop a network of emergency contacts. So foreign investor can use those emergency contacts if they have dire inquiries or requests, so that employees are not bothered so much by calls or emails during their off hours. To further this idea, LG should develop a system so emails or messages sent from abroad takes the time difference into consideration and passes on the messages to employees only during work time. Next, this is mandatory for the company to have mental health consultations. And lastly, it is recommended that LG should do 360 feedback regularly. This will be important as young generation's employees want to prompt feedback from their leaders. Moreover, this can also open communications among workplaces as Korean companies have very rigid and strict working environment. Directing our attention to the text taken from the Goldman Sachs website, it includes the company's stance on diversity and inclusions. However, it's worth noting that LG employees may also feel burdened from having training sessions on top of their work. This will be the employees' predisposition to change. We can solve this through support and negotiation. For example, providing small rewards during training sessions. And secondly, we also recommend LG to have diversity recruitment. So what is diversity recruitment? It is when you hire based on merit, but with the care to ensure that processes are free from bias related to age, gender, religion, sexual orientation, or other personal characteristics that are unrelated to how well an individual can do their job.
To continue what my teammate spoke about in this slide, I would like to discuss the potential obstacle that could occur if we were to implement the same recommendation from one corporation to the other. For the situation of diversity, Mr. Lee felt that it would not be necessary for LG's IR division in Korea to implement more diversity training on the basis of race and ethnicity, due to the reasoning that employees of this specific division are required to be fully aware of the events that goes on in all of the firm's divisions. A foreign person hired into this division would have to have extensive knowledge on Korean politics, the Korean economy, as well as the Korean language in order to truly be considered for this role. It would be much harder for a foreigner to permeate this division over an actual Korean national due to LG having a significant amount of market share in the Korean economy and the employee having to be constantly up to date with economic news. It would be more suitable for Goldman Sachs to implement this form of training due to the immense diversity that the firm has portrayed within each of their divisions in the locations all around America. Not only that, Goldman Sachs hires many people of many different educational backgrounds. Not every employee of the firm has a degree in business administration, finance, or economics. This form of diversity training is effective in ensuring that the people of the GS's firm work well together and are able to respect and understand each other's cultural differences and mindsets.
Now for our recommendations for diversity. First, we believe that the company should set a quota when recruiting employees of different ethnicities and gender. This will be the refreezing stage of organizational change, so the team does not fall back in the low workforce diversity. Moreover, having foreigners speak in conference calls could be a great opportunity to show other companies in the electronics industry and consumers a diverse image of LG. The fourth recommendation is to hold corporate workshops to build team cohesiveness. This will achieve inclusion, not merely segregation or integration. This could also positively influence the work-life balance of employees by distracting them from the heavy work stress. The last recommendation is for the company to implement periodical job rotations. Simply speaking, this means that the employees have the chance to experience every department. This will allow departments to have fresh eyes and a new perspective on how to go about. Not only that, but this will also allows the departments to have complete transparency. Communication between people will be easier as employees have first-hand experience of what the other departments are currently doing. From the interview, it is clear that the company has several issues that needs to be attended to. However, we found the work-life balance issue the most critical. While the company does take action to fix this issue by offering more vacational days, it does not alleviate the issue. The daily imbalances of work and social life can strain the employees mentally and physically. Eventually, it will lead to lower productivity and motivation, causing them to burn out, which is why we found this specific issue critical. Regardless of the research, the experience of interviewing an employee of the global conglomerate LG was a valuable experience. First of all, our interviewee's loyalty to the company of around 26 years gave us a deep insight to the corporate culture of LG. This firsthand experience was invaluable to an undergraduate who was merely studying the theoretical concepts of business in class. We as a group found his experience working with ZKW the most interesting, as it eventually led to 20% market share it holds today. The overall interview was the perfect opportunity for us to learn how the concepts we learned from class operate in real life situations. Thank you.